Imagine that you have an important task that you have to get done with work, but no matter what you do, you keep fumbling and falling into the trap of not getting that task done. Well, you're not alone, and millions of Americans struggle with this exact same issue. So next I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why this is happening. The real question is, why does our brain keep putting off tasks until the last minute? This is going back to how our brain initially works. We're always looking for instant gratification. So when we know that something is going to create a pleasurable response, we're going to move towards that. And when we know something is going to create a not so pleasurable response, we're going to move away from it. And that task that you have to get done seems like an unpleasurable task to do in that moment, even if the payoff afterwards is going to be pleasurable. That's why we really move towards quick dopamine hits, just like checking your email, social media, and watching quick videos that make us feel good instantaneously. We also see failure and anxiety create the same response, where we tend to move away from the task that we need to accomplish. Now, to make this even more complex, our perception of the world plays a huge role in this phenomena as well. Many people underestimate the amount of time that it'll take to accomplish a task, which leads them to not having enough time to finish the task at the end. So with all that being said, being able to understand the brain's psychological impact on procrastination is the first step in getting us moving out of procrastination and into motivation. Now, the second step is to identify these procrastination triggers. Now, the fear of failure is a huge procrastination trigger for many people. And this might show up when we doubt and have insecurities around what we can accomplish and who we believe we are as a person. This is a defense mechanism to try to protect ourselves. The second popular trigger is lack of motivation. Usually, a task will feel dull, uninteresting, and just lack the luster for you to want to accomplish it. Without a compelling reason, we normally find a reason to delay. The third is overwhelm. When we feel like something's going to be overwhelming or too big to accomplish or even create more challenge, then we tend to move away from it instead of breaking it down into more manageable, bite-sized pieces. The fourth is perfectionism. When we strive for perfectionism, it is counterproductive, and that need for everything to always be perfect usually ends with us not accomplishing anything at all, because if it's not perfect, then we can't put our work out there to be seen. We become so afraid of not being able to achieve these unrealistic expectations that we set for ourselves. And the last one is the lack of clear structure. Now, when we don't have a clear structure or goal set out, then we don't know where we're gonna start, how we're gonna get there, and when we know we're going to be done. So here are some practical strategies to help you overcome procrastination right now. Being able to implement time management techniques is going to be crucial to your success. Now, you can look into the 2-minute rule. I have a video on that already. And if you haven't heard of it, really, you just want to be able to set your mind towards accomplishing anything that takes under less than 2 minutes to accomplish. Just go ahead and get it done. This is going to start to build momentum, and you will have more motivation to do that next task. It can also be helpful to mark in a planner what is urgent, what can be saved for later, and what is something that you can do on another day. Being able to categorize your list from most important to least important is going to allow you to move through the day knowing that you're getting what needs to get done. Something that I do with all my clients as number 2 is to set SMART goals. Knowing exactly what you want to accomplish in a specific time frame with the action steps that you need to get there is going to make the process so simple. It's essentially like having a roadmap. Think about how easy it is to get from one place to the next when you know exactly the path that you're taking to get there. Having set clear goals is like getting in the car, driving, and having no way to tell where you're going. Now, the third technique is to break a task down into smaller tasks. I commonly see this with clients where they might say, I want to lose weight. Losing weight is an overall goal, kind of like the top of a pyramid. But what are all the small things that you have to do to break that down? And you can get as small and detailed and specific as you can with these type of goals, because then that is going to help you start to accomplishing these small 2-minute tasks like we talked about earlier, which is going to give you a lot more momentum to get these things done. Next thing is to create a distraction-free zone. Now, this is kind of challenging in today's culture. However, turn your phone to silent, put it in a another room. Leave it in another room when you're doing work. Whatever you need to do, turn off the TV. Something I like to add in is I turn on some binaural beats and then I focus in on exactly the task. I usually set timers as well, and that helps to keep me on cadence with exactly what I want to accomplish. Being compassionate is the next one. Self-compassion is the next technique that I would love for you guys to learn how to implement. Now, self-compassion comes in many ways, but this is a form of self-love and practicing mindfulness with yourself. If you're being self-critical and judging yourself during these tasks, then more than likely you're going to fall back into the trap of procrastination because you're moving away from that displeasurable sense that we talked about earlier. Now, the last couple to keep you on track is to use positive reinforcement with yourself. Now, this might be like setting a small goal and then having some type of nice little present for yourself at the end. So this is going to allow you to have more motivation to get something done and start to teach your mind at a subconscious level that what you're doing is positive and moving you towards where you want to go. Lastly, having an accountability partner, whether it's a coach, a friend, a partner, having somebody know exactly what goals you want to accomplish and when those deadlines are, it allows you to know that you can get so much more done and someone else has your back. At this point, I can tell you guys a real quick story about one of my clients that I have right now. Well, she came to me for a breakthrough session in health. However, we had to focus quite a bit on procrastination to motivation. Now, when she came to me, she didn't even want to get dressed, make her food, go to the gym, do a lot of things that she knew she needed to do to create a healthier mind and body. And so we spent quite a few weeks moving through what those blockages were, where they were stemming from, what those fears and perfectionisms were. So then whenever we got to a place where she was feeling more confident with herself and worthy of this transformation, we were able to implement NLP techniques such as anchoring and other emotional support techniques that allowed her to then practice those emotions, pairing them with the new habits and tasks, setting the SMART goals, and we were able to accomplish so many things throughout the 12 weeks together. She was able to complete all of her homework tasks, she started making her own food, getting in her exercises, even hanging out with friends, and just enjoying her day-to-day life and work-life balance. Now, the last and final piece to make sure that you can overcome procrastination is to keep going. You want to avoid relapsing into those old habits. So habits can take a really long time to integrate in. Therefore, you want to continue to practice these motivational techniques for quite a while, maybe even a few months before you start to change them around. That way you know that your mind is working with you. You can do this by creating a daily routine, having your goals set, reflecting on where you are and where you've been over the last few months, and checking in with that accountability partner that we talked about. So overall, there's a science behind procrastination, and there are many ways to move us out from feeling stuck and wanting to get so much more done in our day. If this helped, go ahead and give this video a like and go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos coming up.